ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Bomber Talk. We're coming through some turbulence after a couple of hard weeks, but we are going to see our way clear and see how the Bombers go in the last 2 weeks against Hobart City and Clarence. It is the dear old captain, joined by first purser, Guy Franklin. Guy, welcome along to Bomber Talk.
It was a bit of a rough landing there, Hoppy, but it's great to be here. I'm really excited, actually. I've seen a lot of the other episodes, and I feel quite humbled and honoured after what's come before me.
So you should be.
And I'm very excited too to talk about this week's or the last 2 weeks' games. So.
Yeah, we've got the last 2 weeks, and of course we've got the red and black ball to touch on. But of course it was first up to the home of football, which is at North Hobart, where we took on the might of Hobart City. A very, very important game given the closeness of the ladder. Of course, there was only 4 points dividing the two, and it was a crucial game, Guy.
Yeah, it certainly was, and it was one of those games that Hobart really needed to win, and they came to play footy. And I don't know, dare I say it, we kind of, as I watched the game, I kept feeling like the skill level wasn't that high overall for both sides. I just had the feeling that, you know, we'd just kick away at the end, but we didn't. Of course, Hobart did, and they got the points, and it was a bit of a disappointing outcome. And I know the coach was disappointed. He felt the players were a bit flat. You know, it was just one of those bad days, I guess.
Yeah, it certainly was. As we see young Timmy Duff kick that goal, he got a couple. It was great to see him play the first game. You alluded to the fact that the skill level certainly wasn't where it should be. I think maybe it was alluded to that some of the players showed some selfish behaviour. They didn't do the team-orientated things that they normally do, and which is a renowned thing for the Lauderdale Football Club. Yeah,
and look, on the day there was some great individual performances, I guess, for both sides. We're watching that man now there, Bryce Walsh. He had about something like 44 possessions, so he was our best player. He'd have to be on the ground, and he did his bit, and a few of the other players did too. We just, as we saw that goal go through, yeah, look, we just didn't work like the unit that we're capable of working as, and I guess, you know, moving forward, we've got the talent, we've got the players, we can really put a dent in these finals, and I guess Hobart feel the same way, and they were very much up and about, and as we see Holton take a mark, he was down a little bit on the day. He didn't probably do the work that he'd normally do, or didn't have the game he'd like to have had, and of course we count on him really performing. He got 2 goals, but it's much better when he gets the 4, 5 or 6 goals.
Well, that part of the play was near the end, and that's where the boys seduced us into thinking that they were going to come good. I think they got 3 goals within a effortlessly, and we thought, here they go, and it just stopped suddenly. Whether Hobart City were more determined, I mean, we've had a fantastic record against Hobart City, but now they have an opportunity to play football, finals football, and it puts us a little bit in jeopardy of where we think we can finish. Of course, our sights were very firmly set on a top 3 position, which is pretty crucial going into the final series.
Yeah, most definitely. And I guess on the day, those guys, they were really aware that they had to play really, really well to even have any kind of chance, and I guess they just wanted a little bit more. DeBoz in the final quarter kicked a couple of goals. He'd been held quite well by Ben McGuinness, and of course they just got on top of us. But some of the better players for us.
Yeah, well, it ended up, Guy, with Hobart City 13-9-87 to Lauderdale 12-8-80. And Timmy Duff got a couple of goals. Boscott got a couple of goals. Holton 2, Stanley, Bell Chambers, Franklin, Dodge and Cassidy. And as we said before, best players Walsh, who we think you said about 40 touches, as always in and hard underneath. Cassidy, who's having an absolute cracker of a season. McGuinness, Dodge, Stanley and Hill. So from there it was shower, let's get our footy gear off, and off to the creme de la creme. It was the function of the year, the red and black ball.
And of course, the red and black ball, it definitely is for every club, their annual ball, and it was a wonderful, it always is a wonderful night. We had about 170 people there, and of course it's a great opportunity to thank and recognise people that have worked hard for the club, and of course the big one is the life membership, which goes to players that have played over 150 games for the club, and also for volunteers that have worked with the club for 10 years and done outstanding things. And of course,
it's wonderful, isn't it, to be able to acknowledge, and it was great to see everyone there being nice and quiet, and so allowing those MCs to read out and acknowledge the volunteers. But of course, as you said, the life members is a very special thing.
Yep, and one of our life members was the co-captain, Alex Heavey's dad, Paul Heavey, who's been around the club. I think he had dark hair when you had dark hair. That was a long time ago.
I don't know if I ever had dark hair.
You never had dark? Was that blonde or white? But nevertheless, his hair's very similar colour. He's lucky to have it. So are you. Yours looks fantastic. Looks a little bit like a cocky with the hair up like that.
You.
But Paul Heavey, great man, and I think he did a lot of the emceeing in the early days, a sponsor.
Thankfully, we've got some better MCs now.
Oh, magnificent. Those guys on set. Let's not get into that. But so fantastic effort there for Paul Heavey, and of course Shona. They're there every week, inside and out, and they're the kind of people that make the clubs great.
Quality people.
Yeah, another person too that was recognised, Darren Gonzo Johns. He's been around the club for a long time, and he's been a very successful junior coach. He also a development officer. He's been on the board. He works hard, and he's got his son Dylan, who's coming through the ranks. And
fantastic quality player for the future, and it's great to see Darren being involved in the club, doing anything and everything from, as you say now, from marketing, sponsorship, membership. Gonzo's there.
Newsletters. He's really putting his hand up this year in particular. And poor old Sally, I guess she never ever sees him. Although that
football
might be
widow.
Yeah, of course. So those two people, congratulations as we move forward. And I'm very excited about talking about this game. Last week, the week before against Hobart, quite disappointing. The boys, the challenge was put out there by Coach Winter, and the guys stepped right up. And a couple of very welcome inclusions to the side that were missing the week before were, of course, the previous captain, and we see him on screen now there, Matthew Smith. I just feel he acts like a general back there. He's always got composure, and he helps to tend to set things up for the side, and it was very handy having him there. And of course the other inclusion, the big strong man from down the Dodgers Ferry Way, was Kane Waller. Kane Waller was probably one of our best players, and he really helped to set things up on the day.
Well, there's no doubt about it, Guy. It's always a grand event. I mean, you talk about the rivalries in sport, and you've got your Rangers, your Celtics, you've got the Manchester Derby. And not to be flippant, but this is a rivalry that Tasmanian football should covet, in that it's one that creates a lot of interest, and no matter where these two teams are on the ladder, it's a hard-fought game, and there's quite a few people that come out of the woodwork for to come and watch the football. And over and above anything that we can say, yes, there might be a little bit of niggle, there's always quality football played with these two teams.
Oh, look, no doubt. And there was a lot of spite in the day, on the day, and of course I'd like to say the best team came out on top, but it was a very physical, spiteful type of game. But as you said, a lot of great quality football, and a lot of players stood up. There we see Holton just taking a mark there. Now, we spoke about him in the previous game. He really put in. He led, he chased, he kicked 6 goals, and again, one of the better players on the day. And it really is handy when he's playing great football. The other player I'd like to mention too that has done very well with us for many years, and he came to the club from Dodgers Ferry, played on the forward line initially as full forward, moved to centre half back, arguably one of the best centre half backs, if not the best centre half back in the competition. This year moved into the ruck, probably reluctantly from his point of view, but I'll tell you what, he is just doing a fantastic job in the ruck, and that's Jack Siggins. So a great job there by Jack Siggins. So the big men really came to play, and they did a great job, and it worked well for the club.
I know the last thing I want to do is have a Barney or an argument with my co-commentator. I know you mentioned the word spiteful. I think it's an interesting word that you use, because there's been a lot in the media about the rivalry of these two clubs. And I genuinely think when a lot of these players socialise away off the field. I don't disagree that when they cross the line, they play very, very hard. There might have been 1 or 2 incidents that we don't like to see in football, but generally, I think the game is played very, very hard, fought game. Not all spiteful. There were maybe 1 or 2 spiteful incidents, but would you agree maybe that...
Oh, look, I agree. Off the ground, these guys, they all mix together, and of course on the ground things change, and I guess it's really...
Hard, don't they? There's no doubt about that. I agree that there was maybe a couple of incidents that, weren't great, but...
Controversial?
but generally not the whole feel of it was spiteful, but very tough football.
Oh,
that people really like to come and watch.
Well, you get more of that local type football.
Absolutely.
You get people to the crowds. The crowds come along and they love to watch that kind of thing, particularly when it's tight and it's tough.
Absolutely.
And it's there to be won. The game's there to be won.
So for us, of course, we did come out the victors. It was 14-15-99 to 13-3-81. As you mentioned before, mate, it was Holton. Waller was just a key to have back. You can't replace. We've got some very, very good young boys coming up, but that stronger man's body that is physically good, and he also makes the other chaps stand up, I think. Noted about that Dunham, McGuinness, Siggins and Franklin. And you mentioned before Holton was back in form. I think he very much likes to play Clarence. I think down at Lauderdale last year he kicked 8 and he was on fire. He kicked 6, Cassidy 2, Sutton, Plant, Dodge, Sutton, McManus, Boscott, Bell Chambers. And just before we finish on this game, Guy, there were 3 really crucial contests. I think it was Franklin who was running with Cox. McGuinness went to Fox and Dunham went to, who was that one?
It would have been Weberley, who's a very good outside player, and we need to shut him down. He did a fantastic job of doing that. Yeah. Look, the other player I'd like to mention too, and I think he's having his best season with the club, very much a leader, a co-captain, and you know he's just... He's playing his best footy at the moment. He's clunking the marks, and he's really helping to set up the players around the ground. And that's Cassidy. Michael Cassidy is just doing a fantastic job. And week after week, win or lose, he's battling his heart out. And he's and I think Winter said, Coach Winter, when he said a couple of weeks ago, he said, "You're a man. It's great to have you out there." And I think the players get a lot of comfort knowing he's around to look after him, but also to help to set things up. So
absolutely.
A great season by Cassidy. We're looking forward to watching him. And look, this team, we've got a team that can really take it all the way. And on their day, they play great football. And they've been around each other for a long time. They're a lot of buddies and going on, you know, and these young ones coming through, they're feeding off that. And to me, that game against Clarence was a real turning point. So, you know, heading into the finals, you know, it's really quite achievable for our team.
It was fantastic. Also, a lot of the people that received awards, one in particular was, of course, Rocky, who got up, Mark Hill, and he said that, fellas, we believe in you. We're doing all this work off field. It's a great pleasure to do it, but more than anything, we believe in you. Go out and play the best footy you can, and who knows what can happen from here. But there's one thing I know. I know you very much enjoy living down at 7 Mile Beach, and I love it down at Cremorne. But if we can get the crowbar and get us out of it, I'll tell you what, there's only one other place we would live, and that is in this magnificent new development up in the Belrive Quay, the Watermark Apartments. And I think it only right that we go now and have a look at this magnificent property, or the complex that's being built, and it's brought to us by Harcourt Signature Real Estate. The popular precinct of Belrive will be home to Watermark Penthouse Apartments, situated on Belrive Marina, north-facing, village living within 5 minutes of the CBD. You just can't get much better than this. Watermark will represent the latest in sophistication and contemporary waterfront living. They'll be finished off to perfection and immaculate in every way. From the moment you walk inside, you'll be greeted with light and airy sophistication and a unique open-plan dining and living area. This will be an exceptional chance to secure an outstanding lifestyle and investment. Wherever you are in your journey of life, you know your desire every inch of what Watermark Penthouse Apartments will offer. If you are looking for a unique prime position on Belrive Boardwalk, here is your opportunity. You better be quick. Please contact John Crane on 0412 061 592 or john.crane@harcourts.com.au.
They're sort of looking for the ball here everywhere. Where is it, boys? Where is it? Hang on, I've got it. There it is. So back now into the middle. Ball pushed forward. Chance for Copping. He's got it. Gets tackled. Oh, over the top. Which way will it bounce? Oh, look who's there. The Crow.
Look at him.
Swoops in.
Jeez, he's dangerous.
He's on the corner. Little round that corner. What?
No.
No way. Oh, wow. Mason Crow has kicked 3 goals.
A few of the other boys have had a few kicks around the ground too, which is good to see.
Yep. Good to see. Everyone's had a bit of it. Here we go. Fletcher Hooker now. Plenty of time to assess his goals. Goes back and bang. Nice work by Fletcher Hooker. You just have a look at him. He does have a look around here in the replay. The ball came out from the pack and he was just scouting around the back end. Good handball there by Hamish Menzies to see his runner. And look at this. He'll have a look around. He's like, no, I've got plenty of time. I'm going to have a shot.
He's got the spunk.
He does.
Well, we know where he gets that from.
Yeah, I'm not sure how many of you got to see Reid Hooker.
Look at that. These are spunky looking bloke, mid-40s. Hey?
Geez, chip off the old block.
I do remember him running around for some Virgils. He wouldn't remember me because I wasn't much of a player, but I'll tell you what, he was always well presented. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're here with a super coach who's been through the Andrew Hopwood School of Coaching, a very good friend of ours, Hoppy, who's our co-commentator here. But Reid, good game today?
Yes, it was a good game. I think Clarence might have beaten us when it was a little bit congested early, and so I think that once we spread out on the ground a little bit, we were okay, but it might have been a little bit too late.
Absolutely, and we've got a couple of boys over here now. Young Vanderkellen, you had a good game today, mate?
Yep.
How'd you feel about it?
Good.
Yeah, what was your favourite part of the game?
Oh, just the chasing.
Just the chasing. I did see you lay a few tackles out there. Is that one of your, what do you like about tackling?
Oh, just wrapping people up.
That's the way, that's the way. And back to you, Reid. You've obviously been through the Andrew Hopwood School of Coaching. Tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, that's right. So I've got 4 boys, and so it's spread out over a long number of years, and so I started coaching Campbell back a while ago. He's now nearly 17 and playing in the reserves for Lauderdale. And we've got little Flynn, who's nearly 4, who's coming through the ranks. So unfortunately, or fortunately, I've still got a fair bit of coaching ahead of me.
Excellent, mate. You've got 4 boys. You've almost got a whole footy side there. You're going to keep trying for a few more?
No, I don't think so. No, I don't think so.
Fair enough. He's a good-looking man. I remember playing against him when he played for St Virgil's. Always got a bit of product in the hair. Looking good there, Reid. Good stuff, mate. Likes his looks. But good job, boys. It was a great game. I don't think that the scoreboard really reflected, but a good job by all of you. You should be very proud of yourselves. But next time, ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you here again with Duff TV.
Hey, those Watermark Apartments are right near that magnificent facility, Bellerive Oval, Blunston Arena.
It certainly is, Guy. That is just one of the premier spots, isn't it? North facing, sun coming in, and breathtaking views across the bay. Absolutely stunning. And isn't it also wonderful to see all those kiddies for Lauderdale running around like that, the future of our club. Now, Guy, as we put the blind down on another episode of Bomber Talk, I think it only right that we just cast our eye slightly forward toward the big match this week against the leaders in Glenorchy as they're going to make their way down to Bomber territory. How do you think that game will go?
Oh, how exciting. We're the only team to have beaten Glenorchy this year, and of course, they if we play out of KG5, it's a struggle. I don't know why. It should suit us, that ground, but they seem to have that ground lock and key. You know, they just seem to kill us every time we go out there. But we as I said, we're the only team that's beaten them, and we always have an advantage playing at the mighty Lauderdale Oval. So very exciting game. Look, God, anybody that's into footy, they'll have to come to that one.
There's no doubt about that, Guy.
The boys are up and about. You know, I know that for a fact, and I know Windy's pumped. He's got the boys all ready to roll, and Hebe comes back into the side, the co-captain, so that's really good. So he's an in. Apart from that, of course, we've lost Thor, so he'll be a handy in for Thor. And
Absolutely. So we wish everyone well, and we hope that you can all make your way down to the Lauderdale Oval this Saturday to barrack for our mighty Bombers. So that's it for this week from the flight deck. I've given the old man a promotion. He is now co-captain. Just got to bide your way. You got us through that turbulence at the start, and we are now smooth sailing along and blue skies ahead. Let's hope we have a very, very good result this week for Glenorchy. Just a second, you're only the co-pilot, you're not the pilot yet. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is all. A little bit of turbulence, a little bit. Here we go, plain sailing now, plain sailing.
This is fun.
Yeah, here we go. So, we hope you've enjoyed this week on Bomber Talk, and we very much look forward to bringing all the highlights in the next couple of weeks. Cheerio from Captain Hopwood.